Hi, Purple Ella here and welcome back to my channel. Good to see you. So today I want to talk to you about my sensory aid kit. I asked the question a couple of weeks ago, what should I call the stuff that I use in my house to help regulate me and my children who are autistic, and the answer came back sensory aid kit, like first aid kit but sensory aid kit. So I kind of like that. So today's video is all about my sensory aid kit. So first of all, I guess we should talk, before I start showing you the things we use, we should talk about why do autistic people need sensory strategies. And the simple answer to that is that most people, if not all people, on the autistic spectrum have some kind of sensory processing issues. So this means that they might either be overstimulated, where they are above where, you know, we want to sit energy level wise in order to be calm and happy, and they need to be brought down with some kinds of sensory strategies, or they might be understimulated, which means that they need to be brought up to meet the normal. And these are the kids that you would generally see kind of spinning around and sensory seeking and just really trying to grab hold of whatever input they can get to get themselves up to where they need to be. So, and also, one person with sensory processing issues may vary between there and there, even within the space of a day, even within the space of an hour. So it's good to understand yourself or your autistic child or loved one's sensory needs so that you can develop some strategies that will help them to stay regulated. And staying regulated means calm, happy, less anxiety, and everybody wants that. So what do we use in our house to deal with our sensory needs? Well, I have a whole bunch of stuff here to show you. So I'm going to start with, I guess, the biggest one, which I have to say gets used by all my children, including my son who is not on the autistic spectrum, every single day, and that is our big, obviously it's purple, our big purple bouncy ball. And this is fantastic, particularly I find for my daughter enjoys using it, and well, all of them do, but actually my middle son, who's really a massive fidgeter, likes to use this ball and bounces and rocks, and I feel like that really is satisfying to him, because he will, of an evening, he will sit on it and he will just kind of be constantly moving, even while he's watching some TV or whatever. I like to use it, let me give you a little demonstration. I like to use it to kind of rock or drape myself over. That's really nice and satisfying. Or you could put a child or an adult underneath and you could roll the ball over them, and my daughter really enjoys that. Or you could sit on it and you could bounce, or anything you would like, really. It's just a really helpful thing. And when I first bought this, I thought, oh, maybe this is going to be a flash in the pan and it's going to be used once and then it's going to be bouncing about my living room, driving me nuts. Now, I'm not going to kid you, this does drive Mr. Purple nuts, because it is bouncing around our living room a lot, but the children really benefit from it. They use it on a daily basis. We've had it for over a year now and they're still using it on a daily basis. So I would say this is a really great thing to have in the house. The next thing, I'm going to go with the stuff that we use in the house first, followed by the stuff that we use on the go. So in the house we have, well, the first thing, I would use these, I would have a pair of these in my handbag if I was going to a busy place for the children to use, but I generally keep them in the house in case the noise and the chaos of the house gets too much from them and they need a break. And I also know that my children use these, particularly Wonder Girl uses these in school. Good old ear defenders. So these are great for reducing noise. I don't know why I'm telling you this, I'm sure you can work this out for yourself. These are great for reducing noise in busy places. Personally, I see sometimes people with their kids and they're wearing these constantly. I'm not necessarily sure that that's such a great idea, because the more you use them, the more overstimulating and intense any noise without them is going to feel. So you can almost kind of overly sensitize yourself, I think, if you wore them all the time. So we tend to use them if we're at a festival, if we're at a crowded, busy place, if we're in a shopping centre, or simply in the house when it all just becomes too much and they just need to tune out. That's when I would use those. But I wouldn't use them all the time, because I want my children to be able to cope with a certain level of noise, and I feel like they need to be able to be desensitised to that a little bit. So that's those. The other thing that we've got here is we've got two of these. One of them is officially mine and one of them is officially Super Kids, and these were made for us by my lovely friend Abby, who, if you have a look in the videos below. She runs Sensory Ujimabobs, which is a company that provides chewy jewellery and sensory fidgets and lap weights and things like that. And she made these for us right when she first set up the business, and they're really fantastic. And they are weighted lap pads. This one is Super Kids, and what was really lovely was that he actually designed this with Abby, and she sat with him and he even sewed it himself, so he's very proud of this, and he chose the fur and he chose how big he felt he wanted it to be. You can use these, and I did the same thing with mine, so obviously it's purple, and you can use these in a variety of ways. I'll use mine actually on my lap when I'm just sitting watching TV. Sometimes I'll turn it around because mine's almost big enough to be a blanket, or you can use it. Mine is big enough to be used kind of across the shoulders. Oh, that's great. Sort of a weighted down feeling, which is really quite satisfying when you need that. And I find that the weighted stuff is really helpful personally for me when I am feeling anxious. And when I'm feeling anxious and overstimulated, sometimes I can get that feeling like I have drunk way too much caffeine, like something really terrible is going to happen, and like I am out of control. And I find that a good sort of half an hour sitting with my weight really helpful. I think there is some science around the weight on your body producing things like oxytocin, which is the feel-good hormone that makes you feel nice and relaxed, and other things. And so there is actually some proven information out there that weighted products are good regardless if you're on the autistic spectrum or not. They can just be really, really calming. So I really like our weighted stuff. So we've got that, and then we also have, and we got this quite recently but it's been really popular, this is an elastic thing. I can't show you how you use it because I'm too big, but I can give you a rough idea. What you do, this is for Super Kitten and Wonder Girl, is you get inside of it. I can't get inside of the bottom, but you get inside of it, and it's kind of a sorry, I can't do hello. It's kind of a proprioception thing, in that you can get your whole body in it if you're kid size and push and pull against the resistance of the elastic. And also you can get yourself in it, and you can even close the whole thing and completely shut yourself inside this thing, which can be great for reducing stimulation. We got this from Sensory Direct. We bought this from Sensory Direct after my visit to the autism show, and I think this is fantastic. It comes in different sizes and different colours, so depending on your child. And I think this is, well, I can say that it's been quite popular. My son really likes it. My daughter really likes it. Quite often what he'll do is get inside of it when he's going to sit and play his video games, and then he can sort of be kicking his legs out against it while he's sat relaxing. So again, I think this is pretty cool. And then finally, the regularly used, and this is a box that I have in my living room, is my Chewy Gem Chewy strap. That can be used again for that proprioception, push and pull, but also as a really great chew. As you can see, we all also have Chewy jewellery. This is again from Chewy Gem. It's my rainbow Chewy Gem necklace, and I have this with me at all times, and anyone that knows me will say that I do quite often just sit there kind of gnawing on it. So I find those really helpful. Definitely Super Kid finds Chewy stuff really helpful, and Wonder Girl also does. So we all have this kind of stuff and we all use it very regularly. The other thing that I keep in my house and in my lounge is a box of Fiddle Toys. So we've got lots of different, this one's quite cool, quite like that one. Boingy ball, squishy ball, a whole collection, a whole mess of fidget spinners. We've got an Ujima-bob that my friend Abby, Sensory Ujima-bobs, makes. We've got an Ujima-bob. I've got a Chewy Gem, Chewy. It's actually an emotions thing. Well, it's fiddly, and it's, so I keep that in there. I've got a Tangle, and I've got a Fiddle Cube. So we've pretty much got all the Fiddle Toys covered in this box, and I keep these just on the coffee table, in the lounge, and I find that the kids will either choose to use them themselves, or if I see that one of them is looking anxious, and for example skin picking, which one of my children does, and and they look like they're doing it a little bit kind of stimmy, anxiety related, I will redirect them to one of these. I will almost sometimes even literally put one of these into their hands, and that can direct the behaviour away from something which is damaging and into something which is calming and useful and acceptable for them to be doing. So we always have the fidget toys. We also have this thing. This is completely unnecessary, but I love it, so I'm going to show it to you. I picked this up at the autism show last summer. This is a pillow of joy. Basically what you can do on this pillow is you can draw on it. I don't know whether you can see. And it feels really nice, and then you can rub it out. And anybody who comes to my house finds themselves playing with this. The urge to sort of draw something is really strong, and anybody that comes to the house finds themselves drawing on it, and it's really, really cool. And totally unnecessary. I'm not saying you need one of these, but you might want one of these, because these are lovely. I can't remember which particular shop I bought these from, so if anybody knows, please do leave me a comment in the box below in case anybody else would like to buy one. So that is all the stuff that I use in the house, apart from my sensory lights. Hi, okay, so I said that I would show you my sensory lights. I have these. These are LED strip lighting that we've got in my bedroom and in the boys' bedroom to use to create a little bit of a sensory environment. And they look like this. You can sort of see they're across the top of the walls. I hope you can see that. And I can change the mode so they come in different colours. That's green, pinks, reds, purples. And the other thing that they do is you can put it into a mode where it flashes across like that. And there's modes where they flash, they slowly go across. And what I like to do is come and sit in my room and just change it to one that just feels right at that time, and that's brilliant. Now I want to talk to you about what I keep in my handbag, so that when I'm on the go, I'm dealing with my sensory needs or I'm dealing with my children's sensory needs. So I always take out one of the pairs of ear defenders with me, so they kind of stay in the house, but when I go out I put them in the bag. For myself, because I am vain and do not want to wear ear defenders and have people going, why is there a grown woman walking down the street in ear defenders, I use these little... Now, I searched for earplugs for ages. I have tried every earplug manufacturer going and not found one I liked until I got these. And these are called Flare. They're made by a company called Flare. And they do them. The good thing is I've got really, like, unnaturally small ear canals. So anything I'd tried before, like, just constantly felt like it was going to fall out. And these come in different sizes, and this is the extra small. And they're just little earbuds, and I can just really easily pop it in. That's it, job done. And it just, I think what they do, now this is me guessing, but I think what they do is rather than cutting out all noise, they can cut out the background noise and the very loud noise, so that when I put them in, if I'm out with, what's really good is if I'm out with my children, I can still hear them and I can still converse with them, but that awful drilling and the sound of the ambulance in the background isn't going to bother me. So for me, as a busy mum who's very rarely on my own out of the house, these are ideal. So I've always got these with me, and the only thing is to remember to use them, really. So these are Flare Isolate earplugs. I also always have a Fiddle Toy. This is the one that's currently in my bag. This has been fiddled with by me, my kids, other people's babies who were bored in cafes. This is a good fiddle and fits nicely in my handbag. I've always got that. I swap that around a bit so it's not always the same fiddle. And I also keep in my bag at all times, even though it's the middle of November and not at all summer, my sunglasses, because sometimes the world is too much and this just takes things down a notch, and I like that. So if I could have my earplugs and my sunglasses on, I'm just a little bit more in my own little bubble, and when I am anxious, that is just what I need. So I keep my sunglasses in my bag at all times. And the final thing that I'm not going to show you, because you know what it looks like, is I always have a little packet of Tic Tacs. These Tic Tacs get used in a variety of ways. They can be used as magic pills for when the children are feeling down. They can be used as something to suck on when you're anxious and you just want to focus on that. They can be used as a reward if I want the kids to do something that they're struggling to do. So I always have a packet of Tic Tacs. Anyone that knows me will say Ella will have a packet of Tic Tacs in her bag should you ever need one. So yeah, so that's great. I think I've come to the end. I'm still not quite recovered from my cold, sorry. I think I've come to the end of my video now. Those are all the things that I've got. I'm going to try and link up to as many as them as I can in the comment box below, so that if you've seen anything that takes your fancy, you can access that. And I hope that this video has been useful. If it has, please like it, please share it. As always, please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you hear when new videos come out from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!